you know how to save money. You meal plan, you skip lattes, you plan your budget, but then life gets chaotic and all that knowledge just flies right out the window.
Today we're walking you through 5 money mistakes almost everyone makes when they're under stress.
And we'll help you deal with them and tell you exactly what to do so you don't continue to become overwhelmed. Now, this is not about money-saving tips. This video is about strategies that you can use when life gets stressed so you don't fall off the budget bandwagon and all of a sudden start spending money that you didn't mean to spend in the first place.
In case you don't know us, I'm Larry.
I'm Hope.
And we're from Under the Median, where practical frugality meets real life.
Mistake number 1, impulse spending. Stuff starts to get chaotic around you, and all of a sudden, like the only thing that feels like it's going to bring a semblance of order is to start adding stuff to your online cart and then pushing that big red buy button.
Impulse spending, I think, is the most common mistake that we all make when we're under stress, because we're wanting that spending to make up for the difficult period that we're going through.
For some of us, spending is like the ultimate comfort food, right? So how do you get beyond that without spending extra money? One of the things that we do is we have a 24-hour wait rule. When we want something, we put it in a cart. We walk away from that online cart for at least 24 hours. And you know what? 9 times out of 10, like, better sense prevails 24 hours later, and we look at it and go, do we really need this thing? Do we even really want this thing? Here's another tip that's worked for us in the area of impulse spending, and that is paying really close attention to our self-talk. Because when you get stressed, immediately try to talk yourself into, I really, really need this item.
Here's what we kind of learn to tell ourselves. This feeling will pass, and that Amazon order will not fix your stress.
But here's the thing, if you really do need some help in cutting some money out of your budget and doing it quickly, we have a free guide for you. It's our guide to radically reducing your expenses. I walk you step by step through 10 different areas of your budget, and then I give you a checklist for each of those areas. The guide is free. There'll be a link to it in the video description.
If this kind of talk helps you breathe easier, hit that like button. And if you're not subscribed, subscribe. We do this every week. We'd love to have you with us.
Mistake number 2, and this is kind of a different sort of stress. This is when you start saying yes because you feel guilty.
This comes in the form of gifts, dinners, and donations. People asking you for your resources. And if you have to say no, there are different ways to go about this.
We're going to give you some scripts that you can kind of practice ahead of time, because for us, it was talking about knowing that these events were coming up, or knowing this opportunity to give to worthwhile organizations was coming up. And we had practiced ahead of time. This is what we're going to say. Now, one of the things I will say is that we always felt like giving to causes that were really important to us, that was super important to us, even on a low budget. But we had set aside a specific portion of our budget to do that. When he was at work, they'd come around, they'd pass the hat for any number of different things. And he would say, we have a certain amount set aside for all of our charitable donations throughout the year. I'm sorry, but that fund has already been used up. It's gracious. It tells the person that you care deeply about the organization that they are collecting for. You wish them the best of luck, but you let them know you're tapped out.
Here's something we learned early on. Guilt is expensive, and it costs you your peace of mind. This leads us to number 3, which is abandoning your budget when life gets chaotic.
The whole world is on fire, and you decide you're just going to peace out. You're not going to participate in even creating a budget or keeping a budget right now. We have been there.
We've done it.
When you are under ultimate stress, all of a sudden you can't figure out how to put one foot in front of the other, because just getting from one day to the next is almost more than you can possibly imagine. Here's one of the things that we learned. Going through periods of really high anxiety and really high stress, you have to do something super important. You have to deliberately simplify. You get it down to exactly what you absolutely have to know and exactly what you have to do. You're going to take care of your four walls. You're going to make sure that you have a place to live, that you're making minimum payments on everything, that you're taking care of your basic responsibilities, and anything on top of that, you set to the side for a while. And that includes worthy organizations that people want you to be involved in and you want to spend your time in. We have learned the hard way through medical crises and through periods of extreme burnout that we had to take a step back. And that is so incredibly hard, my friend. We understand that. It is hard when you have been involved in an organization to say, I'm sorry, there's nothing more of my time, my energy, my effort, my money to give to you. I have to take a step back, because inevitably you are afraid you're going to disappoint those people who have come to really rely on the amount of help that you're giving them. But for your own self-preservation, you have to step back.
And you can step back until that chaos passes. So give it time to run its course. And when it's all done, then slowly get back to your normal routine.
And get back to the things that you really value. One of the things we learned is to put our energy and effort toward the things that we value the most. And when he went through a health crisis, a major health crisis a few years ago, we made lists and said, what on this list is most important to us? Some of those things, he's absolutely right, you'll get back to, and other things you won't. But don't abandon your budget completely, but definitely go down to what we call our bare bones budget. Go down to that crisis mode for just a little while. Hunker down for a little while, take care of what you absolutely need to, and wait for the crisis to pass.
Number 4 is paying for convenience when you really don't have time to even think about it.
We have been so guilty of this. Part of the problem is, like, when we've been through periods of stress and we're like, okay, so we're going to deliberately pay for this convenience right now. A lot of times, even after the crisis has passed, we're like, we kind of like that convenience. We feel like we're just going to keep it around. And it's like something that follows you home, and then you can't get it back out of your house again.
Yeah.
It's sort of made itself at home. You got to figure out, all right, this is what I'm paying for right now, and this is a convenience. There's nothing wrong, zero wrong with paying for some conveniences.
Right.
But I think you have to take stock of those conveniences periodically and figure out whether A, you really need the convenience at this point in your life, and B, whether the convenience is costing you so much that it's sort of overriding whatever that convenience factor is.
All these things can really add up in this category, but it's mostly driven by decision fatigue. You get tired in a crisis and you don't even want to make decisions. So you do what's the simplest and easiest, which oftentimes is more expensive. So we have a plan in place on how to deal with it, how to get over it.
And once again, hear us very carefully. We're not saying there's anything wrong with adding some of those conveniences when you're in the middle of the crisis.
Right.
Now, once it's passed, here's our game plan for figuring out what stays and what goes. First of all, you're going to make that list. The list is going to be what? It's going to be what, everybody? It's going to be prioritized. Most important things are going to go all the way at the top of the list. Then here's a second thing that most people forget to add on. And this is one of the lessons that we learn. Which of these conveniences is in alignment with my values and my goals?
So if you're going to do a deliberate extra, make sure you plan for that extra. Let's say you want to go out to eat because you're just too stressed and tired to cook your own food and deal with all the dishes later and the cleanup. So you'd like to go out to eat. Well, make sure that you've planned it, put it on your calendar, make a date for it. Make sure that it's in your budget. Make sure that you have the extra money in order to do that. Go to a place that you can afford to eat at. Don't just pick a place at random and end up spending $60 more than you can afford.
I'll give you a really quick example, real life example of how to workshop something like this. Let's just say going out to eat is the thing you're like, I'm just spending way too much money going out to eat every month. One of our sons has been experiencing this the last couple of months. Going out, spending some time with friends, super important to him. But he was like, I am consistently spending probably 40% more than I intended to spend before I walked into the restaurant. So I workshopped this with him. I said, well, first of all, you have to look at your overall budget. What percentage of that budget is really being taken up by eating out? Are you okay with that amount? Clearly he wasn't. I said, all right, let's figure out how to cut it back to an amount that is reasonable. Then we're going to workshop the problem, because we're always going to look for solutions, not look at the problem, right? And I said, do you have to always go out and do things where you're spending money? Honestly, can you go for a walk? There's no low-cost things that you can do.
Yeah.
Can you just go out for coffee? Can you find lower cost places to go out to eat? Can you look for coupons? I just got a whole slew of coupons in the mail yesterday. We don't use eating out coupons because we rarely eat out. But I handed them to him and he was super excited because he realized by picking those specific places, using the coupons, he would be spending approximately 50% less than he was currently spending going out to eat the same number of times a month with friends. So workshop it, figure out how you can do what it is that's important to you without spending too much money doing it.
Another tip along with these is our Sunday reset, we call it. And that's where you chop vegetables, you plan your dinners, you plan outfits for the week, and you do a quick look over the week's money coming up.
I feel like it should have a Sunday reset. It should have like some sort of a vocal thing that goes along with it. We do this on Sundays.
A jingle. The Sunday jingle.
The Sunday reset jingle. I feel like I have just come up with a great new idea. We do this. You know why we do this on Sundays? Because that's the same day of the week that we have our weekly budget meeting. Every Sunday, we get together, we go over our budget for the upcoming week and say what's coming up that we know we're going to need to spend some time and money on, and we plan everything out on Sundays. And we do it during the what? Sunday reset.
And that saves a lot of mental stress. It also saves time.
One of the things that you have to do if you're in a situation where you are really stressed, one of the mistakes that people make is they just refuse to participate. They refuse to even look at the numbers. And we have been there too.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, this is bad. This is going to be really, really, really bad. I don't even want to look. But here's the truth. Keeping your eyes closed and refusing to look at whatever damage has been done to your budget is not going to help you at all.
No.
Because you're going to dig a deeper hole while you're convincing yourself you don't want to look at the numbers. Your brain does something when you see those numbers in front of you. And a lot of times when we've looked at the numbers, we're like, oh my gosh, that's not as bad as I thought it was. We tell people, take one short baby step. When you are in a situation, you're like, I can't face it. I can't look at the numbers. We want you to go to your online bank account or your bank app, open it up, and just 60 seconds, give it a once over, look at it. Then you've sort of taken a lot of that stress level out and you're like, okay, now I know. Now that I know the numbers, I can figure out what the game plan is for dealing with the numbers. Now, one of the things that Larry and I just mentioned was with the Sunday reset, I won't do the jingle again, was that we do it on Sundays because every Sunday we do our weekly budget meeting. Now, if you would love to get right inside one of our weekly budget meetings and find out exactly the steps we take every week and the numbers we look at and what we do during our weekly budget meeting, we did a whole step-by-step video showing you our weekly budget meeting. It's right over there. Go watch it next.